Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to Budget Report 2016 on Wake Up India show. I myself, Jamshed Bhagwagar, will explain you the budget in a way which will help you to understand better. To understand the budget report in and out, we have to be aware about a certain few terms which is associated with budget to analyze the financial health of our country. So let's see the terms. Fiscal deficit. It sounds like a very complex term, but it's quite simple. It's basically your expense on one side and your income on another side. When the expenses are larger than the income, the difference is fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is not necessarily a bad thing, as some economists argue. In fact, most countries around the world have fiscal deficit. The stock market only does not like it when this number is blown out of proportion. If it's largely in control, it's not necessarily too bad. And how is this difference financed? The difference fiscal deficit is being financed by borrowing from the RBI, which has been known as Reserve Bank of India. Direct taxes. Direct taxes are the taxes paid on income. These are paid by you, me and all the companies. When we earn money, we pay the fair share of these taxes. This roughly contributes 50% of the tax revenue of the country. Now when the economy grows, these taxes tend to grow. The income grows from them. And when the economy shrinks, we are not doing that well, the economy from these taxes tend to go down. Indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are the taxes basically on expense. When we buy something, there is a term we look at MRP, that is maximum retail price. And this MRP includes small components of taxes. Whenever we buy something, this amount of tax goes to government and it's collected by the companies and then paid. The next term is subsidy. When you buy diesel, you pay the price that is lower than the market price. Or when the government gives food for the poor, they give it lower than the market price. Also fertilizers for the farmers. All this deficit is called subsidy. A good budget likes to keep the subsidy in check. Capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is the expense of government on big stuff like roads, canals, airports, large express highways, etc. It is important for the government to keep spending because this project helps to improve the growth and helps kickstart the economy. The next term is gross domestic product, which you often hear it as GDP. It is a measure which indicates the total production happening in a country. GDP is measured in every 3 months. You can see the graph on our screen. In the year 2015-16, we have achieved 7.6% growth rate. In the previous year, that is 14-15, we have achieved 7.3%. The GDP of India is aimed to touch the mark of 10%, which still remains a distant dream. Our country has seen the highs and lows as well in terms of its gross domestic product, which you can easily see it on our graph. As we are talking about GDP, so let's dig out some history about GDP. The term GDP was first used by the American economist Simon Smith Kuznets from 1935 to 1944. This was the era where the world had no parameter to estimate the economic growth. After this, IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, started using this word. Simon Kuznets was awarded the Nobel Prize for the economics for this achievement in the year 1971. The next term is inflation. It means that the general level of price is going up, the opposite of deflation. More money will need to be paid for goods. Economists measure inflation regularly to know an economic stage. Inflation changes the ratio of money towards goods or services. More money is needed to get the same amount of goods or services, or the same amount of money will get a lower amount of goods or services. You can see on our screen the graph which has been there. In the year 2015, there is inflation about 5.38%. In the previous year, there is 5.93%. During the UPA recline, inflation was a very sensitive and a boiling issue. According to the Ministry of Statistics and a program, implementation, the average inflation rate remained to be around 8.87% during the year 2012-15. Meanwhile, in November 2013, the inflation skyrocketed to as high as 11.6%, which was the peak. People were reeling under the pressure of increasing price rates. According to the economic survey, the government has hinted the inflation to be around 5 to 5.5%. This depicts the fall in inflation by around 6% as compared to the previous year. The ambition remains to bring inflation to a level as low as 0.5 to 1%. A simple and direct question might be arising in your mind that if inflation is decreasing, then why there is no change in the price of domestic and common commodities? We are here, ladies and gentlemen, with the answer for you. The thing is that the inflation is calculated on the wholesale price. The expected thing is that decrease in the prices noted on wholesale rate should be rolled down as it is and should be directly impacting the retail rates. But what happens is that the drop in the wholesale rate is capitalized by the wholesale dealer as an opportunity to earn more revenue, and that advantage is not forwarded to the retailer. Most importantly, it's very mournful to see that still there is no system of surveillance to monitor the impact on the fall of wholesale rates of the retails. This can be termed as one of the biggest loopholes in our country. Policy and no Prime Minister or the Finance Minister have tried to plug this error till date. Now you might be aware about the reason why the fall in wholesale rate do not trigger a fall in retail rate, and common man ends up paying the same rate he was paying during the time of high inflation. Now let us understand how exactly a budget is made.
How exactly a budget is made? The discussions with various stakeholders and ministry start much before the budget is presented. The expenditure and the finance ministry start consulting with the line ministry about the receipts and expenditure numbers. At the same time, in various times, finance minister hold discussion internally to finalize how much to spend, where, and mobilize revenue in mind with the government goals. The government also consults with all the concerned parties like agriculturists, economists, trade union, NGOs and bankers. This group present their demand, which include tax incentives and other steps to boost various sectors. In this year also, Finance Minister Mr. Jaitley will face the upper task of providing growth at near decade at when industrial production have come to an standstill. Giving the government dire fiscal situation, you have to walk spending to boost growth and keeping the fiscal deficit within limits. The budget making process is under complete secrecy with the media banned from the North Block, which houses the Finance Ministry. The corridor of the North Block are very closely guarded by the CCTV cameras and Intelligence Bureau officials. All efforts are made that there is no breach in security till the final presentation. A week before budget, officials involved in the budget making process are completely from outside world. Such tight security measures have ensured that there have been no leaks. The budget documents are also printed in the printing press, which is located in basement of the North Block. After series from the Press Information Bureau, the government public relation questions operations 2 days before the budget. A team of officials prepare a press release in 3 languages: English, Hindi and Urdu. The officials also remain fundamental till the budget speech is delivered by the finance minister in the parliament. Cabinet also meets up just a few minutes before the parliament meets on the budget day. So with this vote, I commend the budget to the house. These words are the end of the budget speech. This is the end of the first phase of annual budget speech. Then follows the round of debates for the next few weeks, after which the finance bill is being passed in the parliament.
2016-17 is being produced by the Finance Ministry, and we will explain you how it will affect the citizen. Not only that, we have also tried to find out whether the Modi government succeeded to bring a smile on the face of the citizen or no, particularly the poorest of all. On 29 Feb, everyone's eye was on Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, looking whether he would be able to fulfill the dream of Indovision or no. On one side, Finance Minister Jaitley brought joy on the face of the farmers and poorer, whereas on the other side, middle class people were so upset, and soon after the few hours it got trending on Twitter as Bakwas Budget. Not only that, people got so fuming they started tweeting that UPA government used to unofficially burden and BJP is openly burdening us with high taxes. Few even crossed the limit, saying we don't want a chedi but at least allow us to live peacefully without modernization of taxes. So that's it for today. I wrap up by assuming that you must have got a fair idea of till now regarding the Union Budget 2016-17. Government have already made a budget, but I hope you must have also prepared your personal budget too for the effective and a proper implementation of expenses for you and your family. My personal take on 2016-17 budget. Everybody can't be satisfied at the same time. Have to give up something to achieve something. As we all know the conditions of our farmers who have been working day and night to feed us in spite of facing various disasters. Finance Minister Balancing Act is equivalent to give and take. He has taken a more from the privileged segment to increase resources for the less fortunate. If these resources are well targeted and projects are implemented on time, this will surely put India back on 8 to 9% growth rate. If you want to understand and know more, then do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or you can also visit to my blog. I will be more than happy to help you out. See you next time with some another topic. Till then, do take care of yourself. Thank you very much.